Hello and welcome back to Bendyminds. Today I have a yoga class for you that leads you through a few simple and nourishing movements in order to reconnect with yourself and relax. So today's class takes us into the rainforest of Sri Lanka, and I'm lucky enough to sit in front of a nuga tree, as you might have spotted. One of these enormous trees that have grown over the centuries and that are said to have calming and peaceful energy. And I thought it'll be the perfect scenario for our class today. Today's class is centered around emotions. So we do know that whenever we have physical pain in the body, we notice it quite quickly, and we know that we have to do something about it. And we usually do movements or therapies or some stretches or even surgeries in order to improve this pain in the body, right? When it comes to painful emotions, I know from my own experience that it is a little more difficult to treat them. First of all, we need to feel them to start with, and we need to notice that, oh, something is going wrong. I'm actually not feeling well, because an emotional pain is just as much a disturbance to our system as a physical pain. But fact is, we need to give them the same attention as we would give our physical body in order to heal. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Elena, and I am putting work and energy into finding out the best ways how to use our yoga practice and how to use our body and minds in order to make our lives a little easier, a little better, and give you all the tools so that you can use them by yourself and do so too. So if that's something that's interesting for you, please subscribe to my channel, because I'm making weekly new videos about those topics. So I myself have gone through a few days of quite difficult emotions lately, and thought I'll use this practice today to share a yoga flow that helps you reconnect and treat those emotions. So when I say difficult emotions, that could be anything ranging from feeling a little bit off to maybe feeling angry or sad or frustrated. Basically anything that you can feel somewhere in the body that is unpleasant and that is not your normal state of joy. So if you have any of these emotions present right now, I invite you to take them into this practice. If not, you can also just flow through the practice and use it as a simple way to reconnect, enjoy the movements in the body, and calm down. Enjoy the practice. So we'll start our practice in a comfortable seat and take a few moments to make ourselves as comfortable as possible here. I invite you to lift the sit bones one at a time. Something I really like to do, something that you probably see me do oftentimes just before we start the class, simply because it takes the pressure out of the spine and brings some movements into the hips. I call this the rocking ship. You can go as wild as you want with this. If you want to be more subtle, it can be a bit smaller. If you want it to be really wide, you can even use a bit of shoulder action with it. Good. One more round, and then you make your way onto the sit bones, letting them kind of fall into place in a stable position. And then take a moment to roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and then back and down. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out through the mouth. Let's do that again to get us into the practice. Deep inhale, long exhale, and a third time, slower inhale through the nose all the way down to the belly, and a slow exhale through the mouth, relaxing the shoulders. If you'd like, you can close your eyes now, and then either place the hands somewhere on the legs, or maybe to take up the connection already, one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. And I invite you to take a moment to just feel into your body. Just take the moment to notice where you're at right now. We all might be in slightly different places here, depending on where you're coming from, depending on what time of the day it is for you. So let's take a moment to settle together on the mat. Good. Once you have a feeling for the body, I invite you to relax the body parts even more, becoming a little heavier around the hips and even more relaxed around the shoulders. And then I invite you to draw the attention even more inwards, kind of below, underneath the hands that are touching the body. And scan what's happening inside of you on a mental and maybe on an emotional level. Is there anything present right now, any of these emotions that we have just mentioned? Basically anything that hurts you in a certain way or that feels uncomfortable in the body. You don't have to give it a name if it's not clear to you what it feels like. Just make a start by noticing the feeling around it. So the theory we have in yoga practice concerning emotions is that an emotion is nothing more than energy. Right? We consist of energy, the body is energy, our thoughts are energy, so emotions are also energy, and it's basically nothing that can harm you, even though sometimes it feels like it is a bit threatening or something we want to get away of. But the truth is, it's just an energy that is moving through you. And this is exactly what we want to do with our movement yoga practice. We would like to take this energy, move it with us in the body, and then eventually let it leave the body, just as it entered. So if you have that emotion in place, go ahead and try to locate where exactly it is located. Is it a bit more in the chest, belly, throat, or somewhere else? And we start off by just sending deeper breaths into that space. So you just very gently hold your attention on that spot. Soften the belly and start with your deep belly breathing. So next time you inhale, you send the air from the chest into the navel, into the belly, so you get a little stretch. And with your exhale, you slowly let it go. Let the navel fall back to the spine and let the shoulders drop. In your own time. So we're starting to get comfortable with holding the attention on the emotion, because the truth is we usually try to avoid this. Whenever we feel something unpleasant entering our system, we usually try to push it away or distract ourselves. And the issue is whenever we push something away, it starts to hide somewhere in our system. So now we're giving it the chance, this particular emotion of yours, the chance and the gift to be seen. Continue your deep breathing, few more breaths. And if you feel like this emotion is getting more intense while you're giving it your attention, while you breathe into it, I just invite you to relax around this, letting the emotion actually take up some space. So it might feel like it's getting more intense, but I promise you, if you really let it out, it won't take more than the length of the yoga practice for it to slowly dissolve. Good. One more deep breath in here. And then keep the breath going. Deep breaths for the rest of this practice. Release the hands by the sides of the body. Connect the fingertips to the ground. We keep this emotion in place. If you still feel it, you continue breathing in there. If it's not there, if you haven't even felt a strong emotion to start with, you just keep on breathing deeply and enjoy the well-being in your body. Grounding the fingertips down to the mat, you start to create a little pressure with the fingers down, as if you wanted to lift the body off the ground just by your fingertips. Giving a little bit of lightness into the sit bones. Take a long breath in. With your breath out, you release the pressure of the fingertips. Let the sit bones take touch with the ground. And then release the hands with the next inhale. Eyes still closed. Taking the hands up and over your side. Meeting them above your head. And then palms together on the exhale. Take the hands in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. Connecting your thumbs to the chest. Deep inhale to reach the chest up. Slow exhale to bring the head forward down towards the fingertips. Open your eyes and take the gaze back up. Straight away take the hands and the knees onto the mat. Starting to tuck the toes. So we're grounding ourselves into the mat, fingers nicely spread, all 10 fingers connected with the mat, all 10 toes connected with the mat as well. And then with the next inhale, you just shift the weight forward into the hands, moving the chest over the fingertips, creating a bit more length and a bit more weight to the front. With the exhale, you start to take the weight into the feet, pushing the toes down to the mat and shifting the weight to the back. Again, slowly inhaling, moving forward, connecting hands, looking in front of the mat. With your exhale, taking the hips back to the heels. This time, if you can, lift the knees off the mat of 1 or 2 centimeters. Reconnect them down, inhaling, shifting forward even more, letting the hips come in line with the shoulders. Slowly exhaling, lifting the knees, and we stay here. Shifting the weight into the toes. You can look in between the big toes from here. And then you just keep pushing into the hands. All your corners are connected with the mat. You're well grounded. And then slowly, securely, you start to unfold the body, straightening the legs, pushing the hips up and high for a gentle downward facing dog. You can walk the feet a little further apart, maybe a bit wider than the hips, giving yourself a light bend into the knees so the belly can reach towards the thighs. Good. All right, and from here we'll just continue our deep breathing into the pain point. Patient, deep breaths. You might notice that the feeling and the breath will change a little bit throughout the practice. And your only job here is to keep your attention. Keep your attention in the moment. Keep it in the emotion. And notice what's happening. That's really all we got to do. With your next inhale, just lift the heels off the ground. With your exhale, bend the knees. Look forward in between the hands. And then we'll walk the feet to the top of the mat. Take your time here. It could take several breaths to get there. Once you reach the top, I invite you to unfold the spine, lengthen it, take a long breath in here, and then with your exhale, soften the knees and relax the belly over the thighs, relax the hands down. Let's roll our way up all the way, pushing into the feet, slowly starting to straighten the legs, unfold the spine. If you want, you can take the hands up and over your head, reaching up towards the ceiling or the sky. And then meet the hands back in front of your heart for another point of check-in. So whenever we come through these little pauses in our yoga practice, we can actually take a mental and an emotional pause as well. And just again, notice and observe the moment, the present moment. Good. Rooting the feet down into the mat, again making a nice connection with your toes, spreading them out wide. Deep breath in and out. And we start by simple movements. With your next inhale, from the toes to the hands, reach the hands up towards the sky, connect the palms on top. With your exhale, soften the knees, bring the fingertips down and relax the heart. Take a halfway lift on the inhale for a long spine. And then with your exhale, plant both hands down and step it back to your downward facing dog. Let's give ourselves a little roll forward and back over the toes on the inhale, rolling the weight into the hands, into the fingertips, strong spine. With your exhale, soften the knees a few centimeters off the ground and then push the hips back and up, back to downward facing dog. Once more, inhale, rolling forward into high plank. And this time we take a vinyasa on the exhale, just bring the knees down, bend the elbows, come all the way down to the belly. Press the hips down, take an inhale to just lift the heart up, relax the shoulders back. And an exhale to come back down. Give it one more time. Inhale to lift it up. This time we hold it here, soften the hands from the mat, just softly touching the mat material. Therefore, instead putting the feet down. And we just like to create a little more softness around the heart space. So this space in the chest, where especially when we are feeling strong emotions, we tend to tense up slightly in order to protect us. We'll just allow it to open very gently. Breathing into it. One more deep breath in and out. And with your next breath out in your own time, you simply take the heart back down. Tuck the toes, take the next inhale to come back onto the knees, push into the hands. And then with your exhale, we'll take the hips back to the heels. One moment in child's pose, long inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And then the next time you inhale, you lift the hips back and high into your downward facing dog. Good. Let's keep on making a bit more space in the heart area in this first part of class. So with your next inhale, slowly in your own time, lift the right leg off the ground, creating a one-legged dog, a little stretch into the back side of the left leg. With your exhale, the right knee comes forward into your chest and you step the foot in between the hands. If it doesn't reach there, just walk it there until you have it under the knee. Drop the left knee, take a moment to lift the fingertips off the mat so you're just touching it with the middle finger. Good. From here we give a little push into the left hip, take the next breath in to take the hands up and over while the hips are pushing forward. And on the exhale we simply open the arms to the side and draw the shoulders down to the mat. So now we're creating a bit of space in this emotional front part. Inhale to reach up. You can soften a little bit, staying nice and easy. Exhale, go a little bit deeper if you dare to, creating a bit more space. So you only go as far as you'd like to, right? One more time, inhaling to make space. And this time we take the exhale to bring the hands behind the lower back. Fingers pointing down, palms gently pressing against the lower back. And you can give yourself a bit of a rocking forward and back motion here. So we're trying to create a safe opening for the front side of the body, which is connected to our superficial front line that I talk a lot about. It's connected to our sympathetic nervous system that whenever we get stressed or triggered turns on and make us contract. I talk a lot about this in my Yoga versus Stress program, so if that's something you want to get deeper into, check out the link. Let's take one more breath to push ourselves a little more forward. And then release the hands with the next inhale. Just soften the shoulders, lift up through a soft heart. And with the exhale, we'll take the hands back down and step the right foot back to meet the left for down dog. Straighten to the other side. Lifting the left leg on the next inhale. Take your time, slow and easy. With your exhale, you take the foot forward in between the hands, slowly as you can, walking the foot underneath the knee, dropping the right knee down. First of all, create some space between the hands and the mat, taking up the connection with the feet. And then once you're ready, you take your next breath in, gently connecting the movement and the breath, moving up into an Anjayanasana. And with the exhale, you open the arms and push the right hip forward gently. Again, inhale, you're flying up. You can even look up towards the palms, connecting your gaze. Exhale, softening forward. And one more time, inhale to come up with the arms. And with the next exhale, you take the hands behind the back, fingers down, pressing against the lower back. So this is a gentle reassurance for the body, this touch in the back to connect you to your safe space, this back side of the body, while at the same time you are allowing the front to open while you rock it forward and back. So we're not trying to force us into these positions. If you feel strong resistance here to even open the front side, depending on how strong your emotions are here, you can take it a bit lighter. Just move the knees back a little bit and don't push so hard. Let's take one more. And then release the hands with the next inhale. You'll take them back up and over, soft shoulders, even open the arms a bit. With the exhale, hands back down, and we step the right foot to meet the left for your forward fold. Let's take a halfway lift on your inhale, just easing the spine. And a full fold on the exhale, softening the knees. Great, all the way up on the inhale, hands coming over the side, reaching over the body. You can lift up the gaze. With an exhale, hands back together in front of the heart. Little check-in. Keep the eyes open or closed. Keep the breath going. And just see if you can find the point again. The one where you located your emotion in the first place. If it's still there, see if it's in the same spot or if it has slightly moved. If you have found it, you keep on breathing a little deeper, and imagine every time you exhale, you're softening the space around this point, just dropping it towards the ground, relaxing it. Let's take 2 more long breaths here. Last one. And again, let's go into movement. Release the hands. Take an inhale to take the hands up and over, reaching up above the head. Exhale to soften the knees, relax the body down, touch the fingers to the ground. Halfway lift to inhale, open the spine. Exhale, strong hands, step it back to downward facing dog. Little roll forward and back, inhale, allowing the weight to shift forward into the hand, catching you here with your fingertips, and then bending your knees like a wheel on the exhale, almost sliding over the mat and pushing the hips back high. Once again, inhale, making your way forward into your plank, and then your version of exhaling, dropping the knees, bending the elbows, coming down to the mat. Push the belly down, take an inhale to lift the shoulders away, lift the heart. Exhale back down, we'll do it once more. Inhale, we're activating the vagus nerve, giving a little pressure into it. And exhale back down. Good. Tuck the toes. Next inhale, coming back up into your half plank. And then exhale, meet in child's pose. Short moment of touching base between the upper and the lower body. Kind of forming a safe spot for your inner world, for the emotion. Deep breath. And then once you're ready, you make your way back into downward facing dog. Good. Let's lift the right leg again on the next breath in. Taking it high above you. Take your time. With your exhale, we'll move the right leg forward in between the hands. Again, step it there. This time the knee stays up. We just take an inhale to lift the hands over the side. Come up into a high lunge. And we'll take the exhale to cactus the arms and open the chest to the front while we draw the shoulders down. And again, we'll stay a bit dynamic. In this inhale, you can straighten the front leg, reach up a little higher. Exhale, draw the elbows down, push the hip forward and lift up the chest. One more time, inhale to push up. Next time you exhale, we'll take the hands behind the back again, interlace the fingers. Take a breath in to move the hands away from the lower back, down towards the back heel, and then softly see how you can open up that chest without going over your own boundary. So these back bends in the upper body can feel slightly scary in case you're working with very difficult, strong emotions, especially emotions like fear. So take it easy if you feel there's a lot of resistance. In that case, you might just bring the hands a little bit more towards the lower back, just soften the heart. If you feel confident, you can draw the hands a little more down and open the chest even more. Working with the nervous system. Let's give this one more deep breath. We have a monkey watching us. Next time we breathe in, you take the hands up and over your head. Once you breathe out, I invite you to open up for Warrior Two. Take the hands wide. One hand pointing forward, the other hand pointing back. Warrior Two. Good. Slowly starting to bring a bit more space in the hips also, which is also a spot where we hold a lot of emotions. Good. Let's bring a bit of movement into the upper body, flipping the palms up. Next time you inhale, stretching the leg, bringing the hands up and over. With the exhale, bend the knees, move the hands down, cross the elbows, and hug the opposite shoulder. So now we're getting in touch again. Inhaling, we release it, letting the heart soften to the top, reach up towards the ceiling, get nice and tall. And then exhale back to safety, crossing the elbows and touching the opposite elbow, shoulder. One more time, inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, we'll cross again. Take the left elbow over the right, cross the opposite shoulders, hold it here. And then we'll just turn the right toes forward in the same line as the left. Take a long inhale to stretch up through the heart again, taking the gaze with you. And then with your exhale, you fold forward over the knees, maybe giving yourself a slight bend in the knees while you hold onto your shoulders. Let the head drop once you're down. And we are kind of giving ourselves this self-support by holding onto the backside of the body. And at the same time, you are drawing the shoulders down. You're stretching the back line down, giving yourself some relaxation there on the backside. Good. Maybe you can locate your emotion there in this position and start to breathe exactly into that point for 2 more long breaths. Allow it to rise on the inhale and then soften it on the exhale. Being patient with yourself. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to dissolve these emotions. 1 more breath. Okay, with the next inhale, soften the knees, push the heels down so you can lift yourself back up into standing. Release the hands over the side, take a long inhale. And then point the right toes back towards the top for the exhale into your warrior two. Long inhale to straighten the spine. With your exhale, you windmill your hands down and step it back into downward facing dog. Good. In downward facing dog, I'm just turning around for the other side. You just stay where you are. Take a moment to soften the knees, belly towards the thighs. Long inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. Good. Let's go to the other side. Next time you inhale, lift the left leg up behind you, coming high to the right toes, a bit of balance. Exhale to pull the left leg forward in between the hands, step it there. Fingers reach away from the mat, long inhale. You can bend the right knee if you have to create length in the lower back, all over your head. And then again, exhale, cactusing the arms and making some more space in the front. So we safely open the front line. Inhale to reach back up. You can straighten the front knee. Exhale to bend and draw it down. Once again, long inhale to come up. Long exhale to bring the hands behind the lower back. Bend the elbows to start with. Stage one is to stay here and keep on working to slightly lean back into the back of the hand. Again, you can give yourself this reassuring push. If you feel like you can go further without overstepping your boundary, you start to draw the hands away from the lower back and use it as extra leverage to safely open the chest. Because the thing about emotions is, even if it feels very strong, and especially if we're trying to avoid the emotions, it feels like they're very strong and they have a lot of control over us. But in reality, we just need to give them an outlet. We can certainly treat any unpleasant emotions by giving it the opposite. So if you're feeling scared, it really helps if you do the opposite and make yourself proud and confident. Okay, let's give it one more breath here. And then release the hands. Take a long inhale to softly take the hands up and over. No tension here. And then open it up for your warrior two on your exhale. Good. Feeling the grounding of the feet into the mat. You're really stable. You're in control here. You can grab the toes with the mat material just to make sure. And then we take up the movement in the upper body. Palms flip. Next time you inhale, you straighten the front leg. Bring the hands up and over. And just a little hug on the exhale. Bend the knees. Bring the right hand on top of the left and cross the opposite shoulder. And again, inhale to come up. Lift up through the spine. Make space. Exhale, bend. Cross the arms. Hug yourself. One more time. Inhale to straighten. Next time, exhale, you give yourself this hug. Hold it there. Right elbow over the left, giving the opposite shoulder. And now it's like a reassuring squeeze, as if you would hug a good friend. And then from here again, you start to straighten the left foot. Turn the left toes to the side. Toes slightly in, heel slightly out. And then one inhale to lift up the package of the heart and the arms so that you can exhale. Just fold forward, soften the knees, and let the upper body hang. So maybe the knees have to be bent a lot for this one, depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. Just see where the sweet spot is for you so that you can still get a little bit of stretch in the backside of the hamstrings, since we're already here. Once you found the pose, make sure you're not holding tension in the neck. Remind yourself there's no danger here. You can even shake out the head, yes or no. Easing out the mind. And see if you can find your spot again. Shifting the attention gently to the emotion, if it's still there. And almost give it like a welcome. The hug symbolizing a welcoming gesture to this emotion to be here. Few more breaths into the body. With your next inhale, empowering the heels to lift your back up. Take your time, protecting the lower back all the way up, lifting the gaze. Releasing the hands, moving them up over the sides of the body, all the way to the top. And then shifting the left toes back forward, just rotating over the heels, bend the knee and come back to your strong warrior two. A proud long inhale to lift up through the heart. And then with your exhale, we windmill the hand back down and step it back to downward facing dog. Wonderful. Let's soften the dog a little bit again. Softening the knees, letting the belly connect with your thighs. Okay. And then from here, we'll take a moment to lift the heels even more. Take a moment to bend the knees until they are close to the mat. Take an inhale to lift up through the head, look forward in between the hands, and then with the exhale, you just drop the knees down and let the hips connect with the mat. Untucking the toes, taking a moment to fully take this connection with the ground, to fully letting yourself being carried. So when we work with emotion, it's always a little bit like a flex and release, we put the attention there, then we take it away, then we put it again, we take it. We have to find the balance. We can't force anything, but still we have to do something. So we need to find this flow. Okay, maybe by folding down, the motion becomes a little bit stronger. So give it some loving attention, some deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly starting to lift the body up over the knees and find a way onto your sit bones. We'll start by putting both feet out in front of us. And then with the right knee first, pulling the right knee in towards the chest and then crossing it over the left. If you can, I now invite you to also bend the left knee and pull it to the side. If you start having pain in the left knee, better to keep that bottom knee straight, okay? Because we don't want to put extra pressure into this ligament. From here, we'd like to walk the feet away from each other. So both of the feet will walk into opposite directions. For some of us, maybe the knees will touch. For some, the knee will stay a bit more up. You know you're in the right place once you feel a stretch in the right outer hip. Once that is in place, take the fingers by your side. We'll take a moment to root down through the fingertips again. Again, imagine you want to lift the hips away from the mat just by your fingertips, just as we did in the beginning of class. Making the spine long and upright. Collect your deep breath. And then with your next inhale, you push even deeper, really trying to lift the hips off the ground. And then with the exhale, you release the hands and just let the hips fully connect. You can feel that there's a slight difference here. There's really a connection. Next time you breathe in, let's take the hands up and over. With your breath out, we cactus the arms again. Bring them on shoulder height. Take another inhale to reach up through the chest. And then with the exhale, the left elbow crosses over the right. Left over right. Maybe you hook it once more, and we have a different form of hug now. So the palms connect, maybe you hold on to the thumb, the forearms connect, the knees connect. We basically have turned ourselves into a pretzel. And we use that to form this connection with ourselves, this touch. So everything that is touching will now start to gently press together. Forearm against forearm, knee against knee. And while you do that, while you press these points, you start to relax the back side of the body. So from the neck downwards into the shoulders, letting the shoulders drop down, letting the lower back extend to the mat. You can close your eyes for this one. It's a very deep bind, a very deep work also into the hips and the shoulders, where we tend to hold a lot of emotion. And then let's just take up the breathing even deeper. So inhaling through the chest, through this little pressure of the arms, into the belly. Let the belly super soft here. And then with your exhale, you just focus on letting the belly go, letting the air stream out, and letting the hips and the shoulders become heavier. So you're inflating the posture with every inhale, providing fresh energy, fresh air. And then with the exhale, you basically let go of whatever isn't needed. We have 3 more breaths. Letting the weight of the arms reassure the heart area. Telling your system that everything is okay, that you're safe. Last breath for this side. Wonderful. Slowly, slowly just release the hands first. Once your next inhale is coming, we slowly open the arms, like a gesture to let in a bit more space. And then with the exhale, taking them down. Great. So for a moment, you can lean back, a bit of weight into the hands, so you can release the feet and take them out in front of you. A little opening to start with. Hands in front of your hips, and we can leave the knees slightly bent and just start a bit of rocking the boat in this position. Might be a little more tricky, maybe you can rock it that high, but you might feel even just shifting the weight from left to right, it's taking a bit of tension out of the respective sides of the sit bones and the hips itself. Keep the breath going. Once more per side. And then take the feet back together. And we take the left knee in. Left knee in towards the chest. Crossing over to the right outer side. And then maybe bending the right knee too. And remember, if the right knee hurts, just stretch it out again. Okay, it's not worth the knee pain. Once you have it here, you walk the feet away from the center line as much as possible. See, my knees also don't touch, so some people really can stack their knees on top of each other. It is flexibility based, but also partly depending on the structure of your bones. So if they don't touch at all and you can't make them, don't try to force it, okay? It's not worth it. Okay. Little stretch in the outer left hip, perfect. And then from here, we'll just start to reconnect the hands again. Hands into the mat, lifting up the spine. So the great thing is once we have a connection with anything, with the ground, for example, in this very practical sense, we can create the opposite. We can create the lengthening away from the mat. It usually results in the longer spine. Just like that, once you have, metaphorically, once you have the connection with yourself, internally you can work to the opposite of whatever emotion you're feeling, if that's what you want to do. All right, let's get a bit more practical, rooting the fingertips down to the mat. Imagine you're lifting the sit bones away. Maybe you can even lift them if you have really strong fingers. Take a deep breath. And then with your exhale, let the fingers come off the mat. Let the sit bones root down and relax into the ground. Hands over the side, long inhale. We have all the weight in the sit bones now. Exhale, cactus the arms next to the shoulders. Long inhale to lift up through the heart. Exhale to cross the right elbow over the left this time. Hook it. Yeah, hook it once or twice. Some people can touch the palm. For some, the thumb is enough. Take a moment to find a comfortable spot. Relax the shoulders. And now again, we gently start to squeeze all the connection points with ourselves together in a gentle way. Palm against palm, forearm against forearm, elbow against elbow, knee against knee, or maybe calf against thigh, whatever it is for you. So it's almost like we are pulling ourselves into our center line. The center line that holds this connection with ourselves. Maybe you want to close the eyes. And again, let's start to send a soft awareness to the point of interest, if you have one. If by now the emotion isn't tangible anymore, you just breathe into your well-being, into this good feeling of the body. If it's still around, you keep on nourishing it with your loving attention, deep breaths. It's really amazing how the body communicates with the mind, and how oftentimes the body is kind of the messenger between the emotions and the deeper issues that we carry around. And the great thing about this body-mind connection is that we can also reverse it. So the moment we we give the body the trigger to relax, the emotion will also relax. Sometimes not immediately, but for sure over time. Let's keep on breathing for a few more breaths. Relaxing the shoulders and the hips on every exhale. And then with your next inhale, slowly start to unfold the arms, open them wide to the side. With your exhale, bring the fingers down to the mat behind you, so you can lean a bit of weight in there. Release the right leg, the left, and stretch them out to the front again. Okay, let's have a few more rocking the boat movements. It could be rocking the boat, or also could be swinging the boat. If you're more comfortable in swinging the upper body in little circles, totally fine, get creative. We just want to take some tension out of the outer hips and move it to the inside, so we can reach a balance. All right, once you're in the center next time, let's take a moment to flex the feet. Pull the toes towards you, take the hands into center. Let's take a long inhale through the nose, lifting up through the chest. And this time we'll just crawl the fingertips forward with the exhale. See how far you can go without rounding the spine. So once you feel the round in the upper part especially coming, you just stop there. Take the hands down, connect the palm with the ground beneath you, and soften the elbows. So it's not about getting anywhere, it's just about offering this opening for the inner sides and the back side of the body. So this line is now working with the superficial back line of the body that is responsible for the parasympathetic nervous system, which will give the body the signal to calm down, decrease stress levels, and get us back into the comfort zone. While you breathe, see if you can soften this heart area by any amount. Maybe that even means you take inhales through the nose and exhales through the mouth. Last breath. And slowly, slowly, you can walk the hands back. Take your time with this. Deep stretch. So we also take it slow when we come out until you have the weight back in the sit bones. You can assist the knees to draw them into the chest. And then place the feet in front of you, hip distance apart. Maybe a little bit closer, because the next thing we will do is to take a long breath in to open up the chest, give up some space into the heart, and then softly close the arms under the thighs with an exhale. You can grab the opposite knees, the opposite elbows, and then pull yourself together in a comfortable little package. Belly resting against the thighs. Maybe the chest is resting against the knees. This one, really, you can allow your spine to round. It's totally fine, because what we're doing now is we're giving the body a complete safety zone again. Maybe you'd even like to rest the forehead down. Maybe you can rest it on the knees, or you just let it hang. And all we are doing here for the next about 5 breaths is send the breath as deeply as you can into the whole body. So from the chest into the belly, where you will feel a slight pressure against the thighs. And letting the exhale relax you. And while you do the breathing, you just observe what is happening internally. How do you feel? So go ahead, start with breath number 1. And continue in your own time. If you're feeling any kind of heavy emotions coming up, just relax around them, letting them come. They're not going to harm you. Knowing that you have this safe space created around them. Soften your jaw while you're breathing. Maybe 2 more breaths. And the last one. Wonderful. And then from here you can slowly lift up the gaze. Relax the hands and the arms. And stretch yourself out into a short Shavasana. Just stretching the feet out in front of you. Finding a comfortable position. Again, you can use a bit of shaking and rocking in the hips to make sure you're not carrying any tension here. Hands by your side, or even for this purpose of this class, onto your body. And we'll just take a few moments to let the body integrate whatever just happened in your practice. Just letting it take the learnings, process the new insights. Let's make sure you relax fully. Take a long inhale through the nose. Open the mouth for the exhale. Slowly let it go. And I'll leave you for a few moments, of jungle sounds before we close the practice. If you feel like you want to stay longer in your Shavasana and you have more time, you're totally free to do so. Here with me, closing off the practice by now pulling the knees up towards the chest. Rocking over to one side so that you can push yourself back up into seat. Same seat of your choice like at the beginning of practice. Positioning of the hands wherever you like them, on the knees or on the upper body. Keep the focus within yourselves for a few more moments, maybe keeping the eyes closed. Just again, we run a quick check-in with ourselves, a quick scan on how you're feeling right now. Just let it come up, what's present for you in this moment. Whatever it is that is coming, may it be unpleasant, may it be any of the more difficult emotions, some pain, or may it be maybe a feeling of joy, peace. Whatever it is, try to stay soft around it, letting the heart be open, observing. Let's take the hands together in front of the heart. Connecting to ourselves. Maybe take a moment to thank ourselves for having taken time to practice and having taken time to treat our inner disturbance, to treat our pain, and take care of our well-being. Gently blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope you're feeling better, maybe more relaxed, maybe more calm. In case you're still feeling a lot of the emotion present, or maybe something new has come up, that is completely normal. That could just mean you have peeled an onion layer away of something that is maybe underneath. It's oftentimes the case once we start to work with the body and the emotions. Don't worry, just stay calm. You could either take it through the same practice, or basically you could use any practice, especially the ones that I have in my channel are usually more for relaxing the nervous system, so you could choose any of them to take your emotion through it and just do the exercises, the mental attention that we just did in this practice to solve it. All right, let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any more specific requests for further practices going forward, and I wish you a happy day.